This will be a victory for real people, a victory for ordinary people.
We got here because we switched from a policy of Americanism, focusing on what's good for America's middle class, to a policy of globalism.
We have fought against the multinationals. We fought against the big merchant banks.
It's not just our economy that's been corrupted, but our foreign policy too.
We fought against big politics. We fought against lies, corruption, and deceit. Let June the 23rd go down in our history as our Independence Day.
Joining me now, someone who knows full well how messaging influences voters, pollster Frank Luntz. Frank, great to see you. And so you actually were polling this thing. You actually had it right. You had the Leavers 2 points ahead of the Remainers, and that's exactly how it turned out. What was it? Why did all the other pollsters underestimate the strength of the Leave movement?
Two reasons. Number one, they could not predict turnout. The fact that this is the highest percentage of Brits that have ever voted in an election, even more than voted for Prime Minister last year, is significant. And the higher the turnout, the better the Leave campaign did. And second is that they were unable to project those final 10 or 12% that were moving at the end. Megyn, over 90% of the British population had decided more than 2 weeks in advance how they were going to vote. That last 10% in the end voted with Leave, and the reason why is because the Remain campaign did not personalize, individualize, or humanize the election. They talked about Britain overall rather than talking about the average hardworking taxpayer. The Leave campaign was much more effective at personalizing it and more emotional in its appeal.
The Wall Street Journal had a write-up today talking about some certain individuals who voted to leave, including a lot of these were Democrats. It was working-class Democrats who really made it happen. And they were talking about how, like, it's socialized medicine over there, how they'd go into the hospitals, and one guy's wife had to wait 10 weeks to get a pain shot. She had to wait 10 weeks before she could get a shot to relieve the pain in her back. These people are not, understandably, they're not welcoming an influx of 650,000 immigrants. That's just more people on the roster, more people they have to fight for housing with. Forget jobs, because they're doing okay on unemployment, but it's much more than jobs over there.
Yes, and it's also about a government that has lost control, a European government that does not understand that its bureaucracy is destroying the hopes and dreams of the populations that it is supposed to serve. The number one complaint, other than immigration, was this faceless, nameless European bureaucracy that just made life more difficult for the British people. You'd be amazed that what I'm listening to over there over the last 72 hours is exactly what I'm hearing here in America. It is so much of the Trump campaign that the public has had enough. And I would say, if I were advising the Clinton campaign, that you better not represent the status quo, because people across Europe and across America have had it, Megyn. They're fed up with politics as usual, fed up with being ignored by the politicians, and fed up with not having a voice and running their own lives.
Mm-hmm.